Tighten up those belts. It's time to go. Wheels up. You were tight. Gotcha. Who the fuck are you?
I'm Matt.
The Benedetto?
No, Matt Omick, co-host of Wheels Up. I just forgot my shirt today.
You're watching Wheels Up Wednesday. I'm Spencer Hill alongside Matthew Omick, and we're ready for a good show. Matt, how's your weekend?
It was pretty good. Actually, it wasn't that good. I was actually sick all weekend and didn't do a whole lot other than work on the race car and try and get ready for this weekend for Vegas.
Right on. Obviously, not Matthew Omick to my left. Matt couldn't be with us tonight because he had a very important 3-on-3 basketball game at the park at 8 o'clock. And so I finally did it. It took me 25 episodes, but I have gotten rid of Matt. And I couldn't be any more excited to welcome in Jason Irwin. So, Jason, take it away, man. What do we got going on this week? I mean, it was a crazy weekend. I know, I obviously you didn't do a whole lot, but for everybody else, it was a crazy weekend. I went to Las Vegas, and we saw a lot happening over there in Sin City.
Yeah, Vegas looked like a fun trip. You know, looked like you guys had a good time. All the races were really awesome. Great weekend to go out there. And then Vegas itself, never a bad time when you get to go enjoy the
No, my man Aldo over at the Plaza Casino on Fremont hooked me up fat. I blew it all, but he hooked me up fat the first night, and I was like $120 up, so that was pretty good, especially for me, because I suck at gambling.
Yeah.
For you, what kind of a gambling man are you? Are you more of a tables or slots guy?
I'm a tables guy. I don't play slots at all. Generally, blackjack or roulette. I could go either way, depending on the people I'm with. I don't really go unless I'm with people, you know. So if I'm with people, you know, and they like to play blackjack, I'll play blackjack. They like to play roulette, I'll play roulette.
Yeah, I got you. And for me, totally forgot to turn the fan. That's the light. Forgot to turn the fan off in here because it's so damn hot.
Steamy.
It's still so hot from Las Vegas. All that heat that was rising over there. God damn, it was good. But no, it was a good weekend over there. It was busy though. Of course, I went over there with Diane Hassel, one of my best friends, traveling buddy for sure over there, and it was fun. We got there Wednesday night. We stayed at Treasure Island the first night, so that's down on the Strip.
Yeah.
Got to explore a little bit down there. That was fun. It's always a good time down there. I just love Las Vegas. Like, so much. I don't know, like between that and Nashville, I've had a crazy 2 weeks. Absolutely.
Yeah, Vegas is definitely fun, depending on what you're doing, you know. Going downtown, it's always good to enjoy that. So sometimes after the races, you know, we go down Fremont Street and enjoy ourselves a little bit. But when you can do that, it's always a good time. Plus, you got to watch awesome racing all weekend and be
and
involved.
That was the plus, is like we kind of had two vacations in one, because we had, on one hand, Las Vegas, which it's only like a 4-night town because
it's a 2-night town.
You get really fucking tired of walking around and being drained all day. But you know, we had 2 full-out vacations. We got the Las Vegas atmosphere with all the gambling, the casinos, and this is the first time I've been 21 over there, so drinking and stuff. And then on the other hand, you have NASCAR, and what would normally be a really kind of poor race ended up being 4 of the most exciting races that I've been able to see in person.
Yeah, they definitely were. You know, the K&N race on dirt for inaugural race, trying to get that going. You know, definitely some things they could improve on with the track being so dry and dusty. But it's hard to do that in the Vegas heat. You know, 100-degree weather all weekend. The sun does not stop shining out there, beating down the track all day. And just so many extra K&N cars added to that weekend knocked a lot of moisture out of it right away. Pretty dusty race. Heard they had the red flag it early.
It was dusty
to
for
water
sure.
The track.
We'll touch on that one in just a second. Before we do that, we do want to play Stump the Bus. Jason was able to actually come up with a couple questions, so hit it.
These questions are more based about me, so we'll see how well
okay.
You know me. The first one, we'll start you out fairly easy. How many bones have I broken in my life? 1, 3, 0, or 2?
Survey says 2.
0. Okay.
Oh.
Never broken a bone. I mean, hopefully don't want to. Next one, my legend car, Old Faithful. The one.
Red and white?
No.
What's Old Faithful?
I
don't know you at all.
The oldest one we have.
Okay.
Worn out motor, worn out car, worn out tires. We never really
worn out driver.
But the one that I raced the most. How many different drivers have raced Old Faithful? 4, 6, 2, or 1?
Well, sure as fuck wasn't me. You let everybody else in that car, so I'm gonna go with 6.
It is 6.
Yeah. When you want to make it 7, you let me know, and we'll actually put that bitch up front.
Yeah, Peyton Saxon ran that last weekend on Friday since I couldn't make it out to Vegas, and actually I got to Victory Lane too, so that car won both nights, different drivers. Last question.
Mm-hmm.
I've raced in 5 different cars in my racing career. Can you name them all?
I think so. Does this include the ride-along car?
It does not include
the old Batman mobile.
No, it does not include the ride-along. Does not include the Mazda. I did not race those. Those are just ride-alongs. Cars that I've actually raced, I've raced 5 different cars.
Quarter midget. Obviously, legend. K&N car. AKA dump truck. Super late.
Actually, I've raced 6.
Lucas Oil Modified and Micro Sprint, you idiot. You don't even know what you ran.
All right, yeah, I've raced 6. Forgot about that super late. 2 races in that. 2 big races, too. I don't know how I could forget those.
I guess I know you better than you know yourself, Jason.
All right. Yeah.
How many cars have I raced?
Go-karts, modified, Ford Focus, I think midget, whatever you call them, mini sprint, sprint car. I know you've raced 2 different sprint cars. I don't know if you count those as 2. Yeah. 305, 360.
Yeah, they're different.
And that's it.
I want to say that's it. Unless you want to throw me in as the 7th driver of Old Faithful, and we'll add legend cars to that.
Yeah, we'll see how the new water-cooled car goes. And
you know what? If you want to go heads up, I'll wreck you. I don't care. I just want to show you who's boss in that bitch.
At least we could look like front row teammates, right?
Yeah, we could. We look like front row motorsports this past weekend. But going back to the K&N race, Jason, as you said, dusty race over there. And before the race, I was actually able to catch up with a couple of the drivers, and one of those was Brendan Gaughan.
All right, I'm here with Brendan Gaughan, driver of the number 62 South Point. Brendan, no stranger to dirt, but what are your first takeaways?
No, I'm just excited that NASCAR, decided to try to give dirt another shot with the K&N series now, and it's been fun. Everybody loves it. The drivers have been enjoying it. They've been having a good time. The crews, they're not minding scraping a little mud here and there. Not much mud. It's more like dirt right now. But it's been fun. I'm honored to be back here in the K&N series. It's the big South Point 400 weekend, so lots of cool stuff happening for the hotel and for NASCAR racing in Las Vegas. And now it's time to go see if we can't put something on the kids.
And they're doing some track work right now. What do you think this track is going to do tonight as it progresses? A lot of laps have been put down already. Of course, the wind, heat has affected the dirt quite a bit. Obviously, they had to keep it hard packed for the windshield, so we don't see a whole lot of mud flying. But what are we going to see later on?
That's the unique thing of a NASCAR race on dirt is you can't have it just slinging mud because of the windshields we run. And, it's a unique circumstance. Everybody likes to talk about more races on dirt. It's not easy for a stock car to do it, but they did a good job. This track, look, all the heat they had to pour over 1 million gallons of water on this thing just to even keep it where it's going to hard pack. So, they've worked their tails off the speedway, and I think it's going to be all right. They got the sprint cars out there to get some of the slick off real fast, and then they'll put us out there and put on a show for the fans. That's all that matters.
Thank you. Well, good luck tonight, Brendan, and we'll keep up on you.
Thank you very much.
So Brendan Gaughan, he had high hopes going into that one. Unfortunately, if they put 1 million gallons of water down on that track, they needed 4 or 5 million because that was the dustiest race I have ever seen.
Yeah, definitely to have it in Las Vegas. I think they didn't really completely think that through. It is a great town, city, with the race weekend to have it. It started the chase. But, it's just that time of year. It's so hot, dry, windy. There's no way to keep moisture in a dirt track.
And they only use that track like 3 times a year.
Yeah.
So that doesn't help either because it doesn't continually get that moisture on the under
moisture
layer.
on the bottom.
Exactly. So it was just it was a struggle the whole weekend. Of course, big story of the weekend for K&N was Hailie Deegan. Picked up the first career pole for a female in NASCAR. And then she also won a heat race to go along with that. So she started on the pole for the main event, which was 100 laps. Of course, dusty everywhere. Nobody could see. Cars were literally stopping on the track in the middle of the groove. And it was madness. I was sitting next to Tommy Joe Martins, which is a NASCAR Xfinity Series driver, and we couldn't help but laugh with each other about just how bad it was, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, the track just looked super worn out, super dry, dusty. If you were in the back and in the rows, I mean, you probably couldn't even see. And obviously, judging from turn 1, I don't think a lot of drivers could see because there was a huge pile up getting into 1.
Oh, yeah, big time. That was a big pile up. And I think it was the first time in the history of NASCAR that they red flagged a race, which was on lap 8, and they pulled all the cars off the track to add water to the racing surface.
Yeah, right.
Usually you're trying to dry all the water up, and that's why the red flag, but not this race. They had to add a lot more water, but it ended up being a really good race after all. A lot of moving around happening, but Christopher Bell, he had to go to the back because he fixed his car after repairs were made with that big crash that happened. He was involved with that. They just ripped the hood right off that bitch. And he actually went back to the front. With 5 laps to go, he was black flagged for a restart violation, which I didn't think could even happen in dirt. But what he did was he started on the outside, and he actually got a better launch than the current pole sitter, and he pulled down before the line.
Yeah.
But how do you judge that in dirt?
It is tough. I mean, yeah. But NASCAR's call, they're not going to back up on it. So.
It's a judgment call, but unfortunately, Christopher Bell, his race was over at that point. Handed over the win to Sheldon Creed, his first career NASCAR Can-Am Pro Series win, and that's your current ARCA points leader. So we move from one crazy race the following night with the NASCAR Can-Am World Truck Series, which was, again, absolutely madness as well. Lots of action throughout the whole field. Grant Enfinger won, and we were able to catch up with Grant in the media center afterwards.
Grant, can you just walk us through that final restart and talk about how much of a sigh of relief this is for you guys?
Yeah, I played it out a lot in my head and said a lot of prayers, but cleaned the tires off really good, and we'd had good restarts when we weren't put in really bad spots. We had good restarts all night, so I felt like it was to our advantage. And I think any of those scenarios with us restarting on the front row was going to be to our advantage because we had better tires. Even if it'd been a long run there at the end, I think it'd have been to our advantage. But you just never know how those runs are going to play off. If somebody gets a big suck on you, they can put you in a bad spot in a hurry. So fortunately, we were able to get through the gears really good and cleared them, right there halfway into turn 1. And then at that point, I was driving from spotter and from my mirror a little bit to try to make sure Johnny didn't get a big run on us. But man, it just worked out, and that's what we needed tonight. We had the best truck, and it worked out, and we can do that everything perfectly, in a couple of weeks at Talladega, and it not work out. But we're gonna be happy with this right now, and be thankful for what we got.
So Grant Enfinger obviously super stoked about that win and propels him now into the next round of the playoffs as we near some of the craziest races for them. Of course, Talladega going to be the next one for him. Always a wild card event, Jason.
Absolutely. Grant's got to feel really good. Going into that race, I believe he was below the cutoff line with the win. That obviously advances him to the next round automatically. And this was only his second career win. His first one came at Talladega. So pretty big for that team to actually figure it out. Talladega, obviously it's a great win, great place to do it, but you got to have a certain amount of luck going in there to survive and be in the right place at the right time. But Vegas, he hands down was one of the most dominant trucks all night, drove to the front, controlled the restarts, and got the victory. It's a huge win for that team.
Absolutely. Then moving on to Saturday's event, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, Ross Chastain, Not a lot of people know this name, Jason, but basically a watermelon farmer from Florida, small town kid, getting a huge opportunity.
Yeah, he raced that same car a couple weeks ago at Darlington. And I think everyone was really amazed how he did there. He sat on the pole. He led a bunch of laps until he got in a late race incident, won the first 2 stages. And Vegas was no different. Mm-hmm. He was bad fast. He won the first 2 stages, dominated the race, led the most laps. When he was put in good equipment, he can obviously drive and be up at the front. He's definitely proved that.
Absolutely. And we also caught up with Ross Chastain in the media center after his victory.
I just want to know, with working with this group of guys, what's the most valuable lesson that you've learned so far?
Don't let somebody by at the end of a stage. Man. No, just so it all backs up to you walk in CGR and you see the infrastructure they have and you see the shop and you see so many, over 200 employees and just they're all doing their job. Like, they're all a part of the puzzle that it takes to make that car go that fast. And even when I would get beat on restarts, like, I could go right back by the guys after a couple laps because the car was that good. Even when I didn't do my job, I could, roll the top 1 or 2, get a big run. So that's the biggest thing, is just like put in the work, and for this 42 car, it started when I guess them and Harry Scott, merged and they got the Xfinity program rolling, and even Kyle couldn't win in it for a while, and then he started winning, and Justin won at Mid-Ohio and in the rain, where he's another animal. It's insane. So I guess are we the 3 winners for the car then? I guess Kyle, Justin, and me. Oh. But anyway, so that's just the infrastructure they have in place, for years of building these race cars and getting hand-me-down stuff from the Cup side. It's just it is a business, and it's just the work ethic that went in for years, and that you can apply that to anything in life, any business, any job you're going to try to take, and try to put in the work.
Just such a cool opportunity for a driver like Ross Chastain to jump into really good equipment like that, like he touched on it in that interview post-race. It's so different going from a team like JD Motorsports to a big team like Chip Ganassi Racing. And I think he touched on it really well in that interview, just talking about how the resources are such a major role in that.
Oh, yeah. JD, they're a small team. They're just, every weekend they make it to the track, that's a win for them. And Chip Ganassi, every weekend they make it to the track, it's like that's just a normal day. They're out there to win those races, and they want somebody in the car that can do that. And with Cup drivers not being allowed to race in the chase anymore, I'm going to be really interested to see how many more races Chastain gets, because now he's championship eligible. And if he's put in the 42 car, I think there's a very high chance he could win this championship.
Yeah, and actually Ross told us that he was not going to get any more opportunities past Richmond this year. So unfortunately, he's going to have to run the remainder of these races with JD Motorsports. A little bit of a hindrance to him, but contracts are given out for a reason, and maybe we'll see Ross Chastain return next year full time.
Yeah, it could be. He's definitely proved when he gets an opportunity, he'll make the best of it. So he's done his job. He's led a bunch of laps. He's won stages, and out of the 2 races he's been there, he's won one of them, and he was in the running to win the other with a late race incident. So he's definitely proved he can do it and be in that good a car.
So this whole deal has got me thinking, Jason. Ross, he took an opportunity here that not a lot of drivers, I think, take. Ross is a good driver, proven driver throughout late model racing and stuff like that. But he took an opportunity given to him with a car that he knew perhaps was not, a contender. Pretty much a car where in the beginning he had to start and park. As a driver who's pretty successful in what he's doing right now, like yourself, would you ever take an opportunity and kind of bet on your future by starting with a start and park team, maybe not even getting paid at first, to just get yourself in the seat and get your name out there?
Like 3-4 years ago, I don't think I would have. I was still racing really good equipment at the level I was in. I still am racing really good equipment, but I still felt like I had, I was looking to get in a good car, good opportunity to really be able to prove myself right away. Now, getting a little bit older, I would definitely take an opportunity, because you don't know what could lead from it. Even though it's not in the best equipment, you could get your name out there and people recognize when you do an extraordinary job in lower-end equipment. It really does show.
Absolutely. And I think I agree with you on that front. I think if you're able to step into a car that obviously a lot of people don't see performing well a lot, and all of a sudden you perform really well, people are going to notice that. And Ross Chastain just proved to everybody, I think, that if you work hard enough and you work the system enough, people do notice, and very few do, but some actually end up getting opportunities like he did with Chip Ganassi. So exciting thing there. Excited to see what he has moving on in the future. Moving on now to the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, though. Lots of wrecks, and playoff contenders had a hard time.
They sure did. The first one, I gotta say Kevin Harvick. They've been they've been the best car all year. Them and Kyle Busch kind of been swapping back and forth with wins, and Truex has been really good too. But they had a fast car in Vegas again. They drove up to the front, they started leading laps, and then they had a tire come apart and end their day. Very disappointing. He collected Erik Jones, and Jones on the bad end of it too, because he was just wrong place, wrong time. But now he's on the outside of the bubble. He was having a decent day before that all happened.
Yeah, speaking of Erik Jones, of course, he picked up his first pole of the season, and we were able to catch him right after he got out of the car Friday after winning that pole.
Yeah. Walking now with pole sitter Erik Jones. Erik, walk us through those 2 laps there.
It was just well put together. I mean, it was hot and slick, but we made good changes and got the DeWalt Camry where it needed to be. It was, I knew it was not going to be easy, but we had good speed in practice, and we carried that over to qualifying. We were able to fine-tune it a little bit. So it worked out good. It's good to get our first pole and be starting off playoffs right.
What makes this track so difficult to drive?
Well, it's hard to put both of the ends together. It seems like sometimes you can get through 1 and 2 really good and mess up 3 and 4 really easily. So just to get the whole track put together, and with as hot and slick as it is today, it makes it even more challenging to not make a mistake and not overdrive the car. So getting it all put together is probably the toughest part for me.
There you have it. Pole sitter Erik Jones. Thank you, Erik.
Jones, obviously very happy to start on the pole. Didn't go his way. But for Brad Keselowski, 3 wins in a row and picking up the 500th career win for Team Penske. How cool is that?
That's an awesome win, Anytime you can get 3 in a row at that high of a level, you're definitely doing something right. In the first 2, they weren't really the dominant car, but they put themselves in position at the end to be there. Mm-hmm. And this one, I feel like they were not the dominant car, but they were definitely in the running. Like, this was probably the most deserving out of the 3, I would say, just because they were up front all race long, leading laps, and they had good pit stops all day, executed well. The strategy, they didn't have to call a crazy strategy for this race to put them in position. Everyone was kind of on the same deal. So for them to be up front, actually outrun Truex, Logano, Larson at the end, that's a huge statement. And 3 in a row, I mean, this team's look for them to be in the Final 4.
Absolutely. And another 2 drivers that are looking to make a very good run here in the playoff standings is Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson. I wanted to ask some of these playoff drivers if they were going to take a big leap of faith to try to pick up a win in this first round, or if they were going to play it more conservative and just try to point their way through. And Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson were 2 drivers that stuck out to me, and here's what they said about it.
You do whatever you can to win. I mean, it's just like every other race. Try to win stages, win the race, get stage points. That's all you can do, and that's kind of a situational thing if you want to take a certain chance or not.
I mean, obviously I want to win, but you just need to be mistake-free throughout the whole playoff. So can't do anything too dumb or too out of the ordinary to ruin your chances.
So interesting to see 2 drivers that are about the same level in performance right now have 2 totally different ideas of a way to go about that. What do you think is the best?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Blaney, he's like, you got to win. And I agree. Because even if you make it to the next round, but you're not winning stages, you're not winning races, you're not picking up bonus points that carry with you. And those could be very valuable as it dwindles down to 12 to 8 to 4. They're only going to get more valuable to have those bonus points to rely on. So, I mean, if you're advancing, you're kind of just holding on. Mm-hmm. Kyle Larson, they seem to have a little more speed than the 12 car, I think, as of late anyway. And I think that they definitely have the speed to go up and win races, although he seems this first round, He just wants to get through it. And with the road course being at the end, I think he's kind of just like,
I agree with
man,
that.
I need to have 2 clean races, not make mistakes, get through the first round, and then let's start winning races.
Absolutely. Aside from the NASCAR stuff, IndyCar also wrapped up their season this weekend at Sonoma, where Ryan Hunter-Reay picked up the race win over there, but Scott Dixon picked up his 5th career championship over there. Such a cool deal for him, and I think that solidifies him definitely in the IndyCar series, at least, as one of the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I mean, 5 championships, that's huge. At a level like that extreme to win 5 championships, that's such an accomplishment, and they said it. They're going to try and go for it again next year. And they're going to be one of the teams to beat as well. So it'll be interesting to watch all through the season to see, if they can do it again.
Absolutely. So, Jason, not a whole lot of time here left in today's episode, but what do you got going on this weekend?
This weekend, we're headed to Vegas. Got the new water-cooled Legend car built. We're going to debut it for the first time. So, very excited about that. It's going to be kind of a whole different deal. It's the same car, but different motor package, different RPM band, different weight for the car. So, kind of had to move some lead around, change some stuff already in the shop, and I'll be really curious to see what we got to change at the racetrack to make that car competitive.
And if people want to follow along with what you have going on this weekend, how can they do that?
They can catch up on Facebook at JStorm Racing or on Instagram and Snapchat at RacingJason9. And I'm not very good at posting updates through the weekend, but catch that Sunday update. There
you go. Jason, thank you so much for coming in and filling in for Matt, who obviously had better shit to do today. But that was a good one. That was a good episode, man. 25 episodes here at Wheels Up Wednesday. I got to thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know there's a small group of you that are really loyal to us, tune in every week. You know who you are. Keep on doing what you're doing, though. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. That helps us out a lot. Like our page on Facebook. That's at Wheels Up Wednesday. And then, of course, like and share our content. I think this weekend's episode was really cool, having some actual NASCAR drivers on and just trying to hear what they got going on here in the playoffs. For Jason Irwin, I'm Spencer Hill. Thank you again for tuning in to Wheels Up Wednesday, and we will catch you next time.